Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Melinda's Grief Corner. Here we are again. Lovely to see you all again. No, I haven't. The last time I didn't record a video message because sometimes grief makes you really tired and you just like can't open your laptop. Today we're gonna do something a little bit more optimistic. No, or like a little more positive, I guess. Than past newsletters. I'm going to be sharing a resource about grief brain, brain fog, grief brain, all of the things that can happen cognitively when you are going through grief, especially in like, I guess, like the earlier parts of grief. That is true for me, but it's also currently true for me. I've realized in the second year of grief, I have more grief brain fog. I have like a lot of forgetfulness. That I somewhat experienced in the very beginning months, weeks of my grief era. Like I could never remember if I had washed my face in the shower. Um, so I'm sure there were times in the shower where I like triple washed my face. Yeah, that has currently happened. Or I'll like forget to wash my hair. That's happened like literally in the past couple of days. Um, and how you can cognitively experience this. Because something that happened to me, and I talk about this in today's newsletter, is I had like no ability to read anything that was like longer than a sentence. I like could not concentrate, I could not focus. And as somebody who has been a bit of a bookworm for most of her life, if not, ever since she could read, it was very jarring to experience a time when like I literally just like could not focus at all. Especially also, you know, when you're when someone you love has died and there's like a lot of paperwork to do that's like particularly important, it's not great to not be able to focus on things that you're reading, especially when those things are important papers, like you gotta sign forms to identify the body before cremation. You gotta like do all these, you gotta send the DMV stuff. Like there's just a lot of stuff to read. Um, oh, Fizzy's coming. Side note, I am currently fostering my first puppy and it's a black lab. He's very sweet, but Fizzy is having a hard time adjusting. She's commandeered the upstairs. Thankfully, my house is 2 floors. But in case anyone wants a Fizzy update, if that's what you come here for, which I love, maybe the foster puppy will make an appearance at some point during these newsletters if I still have him. Um, so this is a little anecdote newsletter about my time. Unable to do a thing that I like to do and have done for, again, decades, reading for pleasure and was not able to do, and how that slowly did come back. So that's the optimistic spin on this is that I eventually, I mean, it took over a year to finally be able to like read again and focus again and remember things again. Um, and how sometimes we lose a piece of ourselves or pieces of ourselves in our loss. I had that newsletter a couple of weeks back where I talked about secondary losses that are can be internal and also like external, but losing parts of ourselves in a way that it's like an identity. It can be foundational and you can't operate the same way that you used to before, whether that's like maybe you were a planner and you used to like schedule things in your calendar constantly, and then you suddenly stop using a planner. That was me. I used to use a hard copy planner, God, again, since I was like 12. Um, I don't do that anymore. I keep a calendar. Everyone near my life will tell you that I have multiple calendars. I got one on my fridge, I got like my Apple Calendar, etc. But I used to keep a hard copy calendar, and that something I lost as part of all of this. And who knows if I'll recover that, but I did recover my ability to focus enough to read through an actual book. Um, and I'm glad that is, again, something I am able to enjoy. But it's hard sometimes because when you lose stuff, when the big loss happens and then there's all the other losses that surround it, you wonder if all the little things around it are going to come back again. And can you even cope with that if they don't? Like, who are you now? Big questions. And in here, I'll include a podcast episode, a link to a podcast episode from the Good Morning podcast that talks about what happens to your brain when you are grieving. They I believe in this episode, they also interview Mary Frances O'Connell or O'Connor, who wrote the book The Grieving Brain. I have not read that yet. I do own it. I bought it in the era of I couldn't read but wanted to read books on grief. So I own a copy. I have not read it yet. I am listening on audiobook to her newest book called The Grieving Body. I'm in like third chapter. Highly recommend. We'll talk more about that in a future newsletter. So anyway, sending you lots of love and hugs today. Hoping you're giving yourself some grace, and I hope you find comfort here. As always, I will see you very, very soon.